Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if it's my voice or if it's the microphone. I think it's a combination. Anyway, I apologize for our tardiness. I want to welcome you to the Clayton County Board of Education work session. We're coming out of executive session where we discuss personnel and litigation. And so I'm gonna just go ahead and let us do the pledge, and then I will call the meeting to order. So let's stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order by calling the roll. It's been quite a day for me. Starting with District 1, Miss Jasmine Bowles. District 2,
Present.
Mr. Mark Christmas. District 3, Jesse Goree, that's me. District 4, Miss Victoria Williams. District 5, Dr. D. Haney.
Present.
District 6, Miss Mary Baker.
Present.
District 7, Miss Sabrina Hill.
Present.
District 8, Miss Joy Taylor Scooper.
Present.
District 9, Mr. Benjamin Straker.
Present.
Superintendent, Dr. Anthony Smith.
Present.
Attorney, Mr. Clem Doyle.
Present.
Board Liaison, Ms. Kim Blackwood. Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent and Board, Ms. Arlicia Battle. Administrative Assistant to the Deputy Chief, Ms. Don Blau. All right. Before we get started this evening, I'm going to ask that we always have to do this, but I do want to recognize the fact that our former board chair, Ms. Dr. Pamela Adamson, her husband, Hansel Adamson. I'm as bad as the people that used to get their last names mixed up. Adamson passed, and his funeral was on Saturday. So I want to acknowledge that and ask that we have a moment of silent reflection. Also, we had our student, Stefan Ford's funeral was last Saturday. And I do want to acknowledge that Miss Dr. Haney attended that funeral for us. And I did it, and Miss Baker and also Miss Judy Johnson attended the funeral for Dr. Adamson. Before we have the moment of silence, Dr. Haney, you want to say something?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to acknowledge that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So the gold represents childhood cancer. And also think about Haley Bankhead, who is one of our
Yes.
students who has suffered from this and is still enduring this cancer. So I want to just make recognition of that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. So at this time, can we have a moment of silent reflection, please, for those departed? Thank you all so much. Now, on a happier note, we have someone that's sitting up here in our presence who had a birthday on yesterday. Not only did he have a birthday, he's just so famous. I believe you all probably saw him on television, movie star on probably, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night on WSB. Is it his head getting? Oh, okay. Now let me tease it. Looked like it might be growing up here. But anyway, our illustrious superintendent and chief executive officer, Dr. Anthony W. Smith. It was his birthday yesterday. So everybody, let's give him, stand up. Now.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
You sit down. Sit down for a minute.
Manning
No,
flashing
y'all. Come on. Come on, class. I know it's a music teacher somewhere who's a music teacher? Stand up. Come on, stand up, everybody. Oh, I see the person right there. Come on up, Dr. Bowie. Come on up. Come on up, fine arts. Fine arts. Fine arts. All right, fine arts. Let's lead us in. Let's lead us. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. That was remarkable.
Now
Y'all
you
did quite well. Thank you so much.
You see why he is the fine arts. He's over fine arts. All right.
I saw Mr. Manning flashing the number 60 in the audience. It's 61, actually.
We're going to see when you get to be that old, you have to say 61, okay? 61. All right. Yeah, I guess we shouldn't say that at a Board of Education meeting, though, should we? All right, let's get this meeting started. We're going with the ethics statement. In accordance with board policy BH, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of such conflicts. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict with respect to any matter scheduled to come before the board at this meeting or appearing on our proposed agenda? If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from participation in the matter involved. All right. So at this time, I need to have the adoption of the agenda, and I need a motion, Mr. Christmas.
So moved, Madam Chair.
And I need a second, Ms. Baker.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we adopt the agenda. Please vote. All right, and the vote is 8 in favor, none opposed. All right, we're going to discuss now our recommendations from executive session. Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, staff members, and community members, I would like for the board to consider for the position of assistant principal at Riverdale Middle School, Donald Williams.
Board members, I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation for Mr. Donald Williams as the assistant principal at Riverdale Middle School. Ms. Hill?
Madam Chair, I ask that we accept the recommendation for Mr. Donald Williams to be the assistant principal at Riverdale Middle School.
All right, I need a second, and I will allow Mr. Christmas to make that second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Mr. Donald Williams as the assistant principal at Riverdale Middle School. Mr. Williams, I would third it, and Ms. Dr. Haney would fourth it, because there are 4 of us that represent Riverdale Middle School, but we'll let those 2. And it looks like it is unanimous. 8-0 is
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Williams
Present,
here.
please be recognized. Congratulations,
all right,
sir.
Mr. Williams. All right, board members, very quickly, since we've been taking pictures with those, with our individuals that have received these promotions, we just have the one this evening. So, Mr. Williams, come on down, and we're going to come down and take a picture with you very quickly. All right. All right, Dr. Smith,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to turn this over to you for the updates to the board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I would like for Dr. Young to come up and introduce the presenter.
All right. Good evening, Madam Chair, Guri, Mr. Vice Chair Straker, members of the board, Superintendent Smith, and the audience. Tonight, I will introduce you to the presenters for the Division of Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement. First, you will hear a request from Dr. Pamela Pitts, who is the Executive Director of CTAE, asking for you to support and to approve the Georgia Department of Education CTAE grant allocation. Following her presentation, you will learn more about how we are providing comprehensive training to our school leaders. This presentation is brought to you by Dr. Denise Stevens, who is the Director of School Leadership, and Dr. Keith Colbert, who is the Chief of Schools. And our final presentation, in the effort to support our students in closing their learning loss gaps and the gaps in academics, the presentation will be initially introduced to you by the superintendent's consultant, Dr. Valia Lee, and it will be followed up by our chief academic officers, Dr. Tim Guiney and Dr. Charmin Johnson. I ask that after hearing the presentations and you have been given the opportunity to ask your questions and have your questions answered, will you please, if you have additional questions, feel free to email them to me and I will ensure they get answered. And please, I probably will not hobble back up here again tonight, so I apologize for that. So again, if you have questions that I may need to answer, please email them to me or I may answer them from being seated. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Madam Chair Guri, Vice Chair Mr. Straker, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith, and the Clayton County community. Funds allocated by the Perkins 5 Program Improvement Grant must be budgeted for activities to improve career, technical, and agricultural education programs provided by the Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Act of 2006. These limited funds must be targeted for new or improved activities that promote completion, attainment of credentials and post-secondary options for high-skill, high-wage, and high-demand careers. The Georgia Department of Education's Career, Technical, and Agricultural Education Division completes the Perkins formula calculations to provide the available grants amounts for Clayton County Public Schools. The local plan is completed annually and submitted to the Georgia Department of Education in compliance with State Board Rule 160-4-3-02. It serves as a planning, compliance, and funding document. The CTAE Local Advisory Committee is comprised of parents, business and industry leaders, teachers and administrators, and counselors. The committee meets at least 4 times during the school term. During these meetings, components of the 22-23 local plan was discussed and strategies was developed to meet the industry standards and mandated activities for CTAE. The local plan also serves as the school system's application for federal and state grants that will be utilized to improve its CTAE programs and to increase technical skill attainment through school credentialing. To continue to improve CTAE programs, increase pathway completion, and the attainment of industry recognized credentials, the recommendation is for the board to accept the budget's then funds will be released for the district to continue to improve CTAE programs, activities, and the student advancements of all skilled trades. If there are any questions in this regard, I'll be happy to entertain.
Dr. Pitts, please
Yes.
excuse me if I missed the question I'm going to ask. Have we targeted the specific skills that we're going to need the funds for? Like, is there a certain industry that we're targeting? Did you answer that already?
I answered it, but I'll be happy to continue with the answer to your question. Yes, we have targeted these funds. These funds are used for extended day. Some of the funds are used for apprenticeship for our students, work-based learning opportunities for students. Some of this funding is also used for construction bond grants for our students, and it is also used for carryover funds to assist us with ordering supplies for CTAE. You're most welcome.
Ms. Hill.
Good evening, Dr. Pitts, and
Good
thank
evening.
you for that information. And I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask the question, but with our CTEA program, do we partner with unions to do apprenticeships like sheet metal journeymen and different skill sets that will allow our scholars to transition into employment?
Yes, we do do partnerships through entrepreneurship and work-based learning.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Are there any other questions? Dr. Pissy, we need to vote on this tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but we're going to go ahead. We need to vote on this because we need to turn it in, correct?
Yes, I think it's
Okay.
at the end of the agenda for tonight.
Well, actually, let me see. All right, because this is what I kind of need you all to do. It's not your fault. When I need, Dr. Smith, I need your staff, when you all are doing the presentation, see, it goes in e-board one way. Cause I remember like last time you came up and I was like asking, I need you all to, however it is in e-board, I need you to present like it is in e-board. Cause then we end up, we're sitting up here trying to go through our computer to find what you all are doing. I know you all have the slides up here, but ours is different on what we're looking at. So it is at the end, but I mean, it's now. I'm just gonna go ahead and let us just vote now. I'm not sure how Miss Battle, I don't know if you have it. You may have it in your notes another way, but I just want to just kind of get it out because now we've got to try to juggle putting everything that we have on our thing in order so we're paying attention.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's go ahead and have a motion, make the motion. I see Ms. Baker.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the CTAE 2024 Perkins number 5 program improvement grant.
All right, and Dr. Haney.
And
Okay. We have it. It's been moved and properly second. So let's vote, please. Oh, did you have another question, Mr. Straker? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, it is unanimous, 8-0. Thank you for
Thank you.
all the good things that you all are doing with CTAE.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Dr. Pitts.
Leadership. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of the Division of Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement, we will share an update on the professional development and support being provided to our leaders by the Department of Professional Learning. Our work, as well as this presentation, is centered around strategic goal number 2, which is to recruit, develop, and retain highly qualified and effective staff. Myself, along with Dr. Denise Stevens, and two of our leaders, Dr. Don Watkins and Rashonda Timms, will present to you tonight. Dr. Stevens will provide an overview of the leadership program, and then our two leaders, Dr. Don Watkins and Rashonda Timms, will come and close us out by talking to you about their experience in the leadership development program.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith, and members of the community at large. As Dr. Colbert mentioned, our work is centered around strategic goal number 2. So let's take a second, and I have a clicker. You got it? Okay. We want to start with our why. Why do we exist? What's the purpose of having leadership development here in Clayton County Public Schools? Our purpose is to train, develop, and support our aspiring, induction, and veteran leaders. Why is there a need to provide support for our veteran leaders? Why is there a need for our induction leaders? If you'll notice, you'll see the list of individuals we are providing support to. But I want to draw your attention to a huge group of individuals in our school district, and that would be our induction administrators. Our induction administrators have 0 to 3 years of experience in their current role. As of today, in our school district, we have 34 induction principals. In addition to the 34 induction principals, we have 56 induction assistant principals. So totally combined, we have 90 induction administrators leading our schools. No worries, because they are getting lots and lots of support. The 34 induction principals, they are receiving support from our TRS leadership coaches. And our induction assistant principals, they will be receiving additional support from a veteran who is actually a veteran assistant principal who will serve as their mentor. Now, you've already received the information regarding the academies. I'm not going to go into that because I really want to get the recipients of our provided services to you. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that we currently now have 8 academies. We started out with 2 academies, and some of you may already know. We had HPLA, which is called LEAP, and we also had Learning to Lead. And these programs and academies prepare our employees to become leaders in our school district. This year, because of the number of individuals who needed support, we added 6 additional academies. With that being said, let's hear from the individuals who actually received the support from leadership development, which is professional learning. I have Dr. Dawn Watkins. She's principal of Callaway Elementary School, and she will be followed by Ms. Rashonda Timms, who is the assistant principal of Harper Elementary School. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Dr. Smith, and community at large. I am Dr. Watkins, the proud principal of Callaway Elementary School and graduate of Morrow High School. Yay, product. When I served as assistant principal, I participated in the High Performance Leadership Academy led by facilitators Dr. Stevens and Mr. West. I had the pleasure to hear from some phenomenal principals, their perspectives, experience, and their authentic role as a leader. I also heard from district department leaders, and they provided their insight on what they do and how they best support administrators. I also want to add that the contributions from my colleagues enlightened my high performance leadership academy experience. Now, after becoming principal, I received a assigned sister keeper, supportive colleague, Kelly Stars, while in the process of getting a leadership coach. Now, within a few weeks, I got my leadership coach, Mrs. Sarah Canyon. Ms. Canyon is supportive. She provides effective feedback, guidance, and allows me to take ownership of my own leadership. I also continue to receive support and check-ins from Dr. Stevens. I also want to mention that I had two principals, assistant principals, and those assistant principals provided from Dr. Malika Gonzalez, 101 mentoring. And that is what was such a positive impact because the entire leadership team was provided support from the professional learning department. I appreciate all the support, guidance, and training as I continue to lead my school in building a better tomorrow today. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Smith. I am Rashonda Timms. I'm one of the new proud assistant principals at Harper Elementary. I'm also a proud graduate of Jonesboro High School, and and I am so excited to serve in a county that played a part in making me the woman and leader that I am. Dr. Stevens gave me my first opportunity as a teacher on the waiver in 2017. Through her encouragement, I found myself at the doors of the Professional Learning Center where I embarked on a path of continuous learning and professional development. I attended courses on classroom management, participated in math courses, and earned 2 endorsements. Soon after earning my endorsement, Dr. Tangela Benjamin entrusted in me to serve as the ESOL lead at Harper Elementary. One pivotal moment in my journey was when I joined the Learning to Lead Academy under the guidance of Dr. James and Dr. Hopkins. I had the privilege of preparing for the role of an assistant principal. Each week, we had the chance to meet different leaders from our county, learning from their experiences and gaining valuable insights into leadership. The bonds I formed with my cohort members were nothing short of life-lasting, creating a network of support that I could lean on. Recently, I received the exciting news that I was accepted into the Tier 2 Mercer CCPS collaboration, a free opportunity to not only earn my Tier 2 certification, but also earn an EDS in educational leadership. I have to pause for a moment and personally say thank you to Dr. Smith and members of the board for this amazing partnership. The cohort not only prepares me for future leadership roles, but also equips me for my current position as first-year assistant principal. I want to emphasize that the Professional Learning Center played a significant role in my journey, contributing to my development as a leader, the lessons I learned, and the skills I acquired. The relationships I built have been all instrumental in shaping who I am today. As I stand here, I am grateful for my opportunities that have come my way and the support and mentorship that have guided me along the path. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes the update on leadership development. We stand ready to entertain any questions that you may have.
Mr. Straker.
Dr. Lee, I know you're going to get tired of me. That was a fantastic presentation. Dr. Lee, I think you need to take these two individuals, get them on a YouTube video and pump it out throughout the district because they're the epitome and the example of how our leadership, how our training has created great leaders.
Ms. Hill.
I just want to echo the sentiments of Vice Chair, and I also want to say thank you because I went through the presentation and I didn't have any question, but I appreciate you having the foresight to bring in those who have experience and who have actually lived what we are doing. And so I just want to say thank you to all the staff of Clayton County Public Schools because you guys are doing an amazing job. And so I just want to commend you on the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Ms. Cooper.
Hello, again, I echo everything that they said, but I do have a question about the programs. I'm glad that you added 6 more academies, and I probably can answer my own question, but just wondering. So let's just say if I'm a teacher in the classroom, but I want to aspire to be an assistant principal or principal, can they flow over into the other programs that you have, or is it one set up here that they would have to enter in order to go through the process of becoming a principal or assistant principal?
Okay, just for clarity, you were saying if it's a teacher who, Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So currently what we have for our teachers, because each of the academy, there is certain criteria for each academy. So our teacher leaders, they can be a part of Learning to Lead. Learning to Lead is the academy for our experienced teacher, our teacher leaders, our facilitators. Those individuals have the opportunity to participate in that academy. And this is if that individual desires to become an assistant principal. So yes, that is the career ladder we have for our teachers.
Are there any other questions? Well, I want to say something before you all sit down. I'm Dr. Colbert and Dr. Stevens, but I also want to commend, I think one person that's missing, I'm looking at her, Dr. Duncan, Dr. Gloria Duncan, because all of this comes up under her leadership as well. Thank you. So this is the question that I want to ask. And Ms. Cooper, that's a great question that you asked, because I was just about to say the same thing. Now, you all had a number. What's the number that we're going to allow the free cohort? What's the number?
For the Mercer cohort, for tier 1, the maximum is 20, and for tier 2, it is 13.
Okay, I noticed that in your report, you all say that they came before a panel, but I'm also concerned, what was the criteria for the selection? Because I can think of, you all didn't tell us who the people are, maybe y'all don't want us to know or what, but I can think of several people. I hope their names are on the list, because I've been kind of fussing at a couple of people that I know over the years should be in a leadership program. And so I hope I see those names. But of course, I want to commend both of our new administrators. I believe that Dr. Watkins, I believe she's my church member anyway. But I want, Dr. Watkins, is this your second year is that correct? Okay. I wish you all had a first year principal, but I'm gonna ask Ms. Timms, correct? Since it was your first year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think, when did we start having a coach come to coach them?
Probably the first week of school, our coach came.
Okay, but let me ask you this, and don't be intimidated by the
Okay.
people that are around you.
Mhm.
Don't you think it would have been better, and even Dr. Watkins, if you'd had a coach on July 1st? The fiscal year, not the first day of school, but how about before school started? Come on up, Dr. Watkins. Hey, don't worry about it, girl. We church members. Go on and say it.
I just believe in any support that I get at any time.
Mhm.
And I guess the more support, the better, especially being a new administrator.
Mhm.
So of course, July the 1st, that would work for me
Right.
as well.
All right, so I'm really impressed with the program, but this is just my suggestion. For as many new people that we have, I hope that next year when we start, we can have a coach in place as soon as our we vote on our budget. Let's have them in place right away. Because let's just say it was Ms. Timms, let's say we made her the principal, and then she's got to go through all these, all the requirements, the trainings that we need to go through, trying to, have open house, all that type of stuff. I think we really need somebody day one to help them. But I know you're doing a great job. I'm real proud of what you all are doing, and especially because those are two of my schools too, and I haven't had any phone calls. So I know you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Dr. Colbert, Dr. Stevens, and I'm taking my hat off to, that's right, to Dr. Duncan. Great job over there in professional development. All right.
Thank you, team. And Ms. Guerrero, I'd like to add that although the assigned coach might not report until the first week of school, I can assure you there was other supports from the teaching and learning department and other departments that were there immediately upon appointments of principals and APs.
Oh, I know you did a good job, but it's always good to have a coach, all the time. I want to commend Dr. Smith, your whole team, because it was really good this year to see I'm just going back to day one, and every school, I think I got the record up here because I didn't do it on the first day, but I know within the first 2 days, I visited 34 schools. And out of those 34 schools, there was not one school that I didn't go into that we had someone from teaching and learning. So you all give yourselves a hand because you all did a great job. All right, do we
At
have?
this time, we'll have Dr. Valerie Lee, the consultant, come up and do a presentation about our AIR program we're very excited about.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Thank you, dear. Mr. Vice Chair, other honorable members of the board, Dr. Superintendent Anthony Smith, and Clayton County stakeholders. It is my good pleasure to come before you again to share a new project that the superintendent procured my services for as it relates to remediating, I said remediating, I've been talking about that so long, recovering the learning that was lost during the pandemic and accelerating, I'm sorry, thank you, Dr. Smith, accelerating the learning. Dr. Smith's vision is that we will not spend all of our time remediating, but that we will get it right the first time. And part of doing that is to pull out all the stops for the young people that are challenged as a result of not getting those lessons during the pandemic that were face-to-face and direct. So this evening, I and my team are presenting to you AIR. The acronym stands for Actions Intended for Results. The rationale behind AIR, in addition to the superintendent's vision, and on behalf of Dr. Delphia Young, Deputy Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, is to focus on getting our young people back to where they were pre-pandemic and then moving them beyond so that they can reach levels of proficiency as they continue to move forward in our school system. The methodology behind AIR is built on 6 research-based steps to recovering learning loss and accelerating learning. I will not go through the 6 steps. You have them at your ready disposal by way of e-board. But again, as Dr. Young said, you're welcome to submit any questions once you have an opportunity to thoroughly review it. At this time, I have the good pleasure of presenting with your Chief Academic Officers, Dr. Timothy Guiney and Dr. Charman Johnson, and they will talk to you more about the specifics of the program. Thank you.
Good evening. We are very excited about the AIR program, and as far as student selection and registration, our principals and our school staffs are going to emphasize that we are targeting students based upon GMAS and MAP scores, but it will also be open enrollment for all of our students. So anybody who wants to register can register. Teacher selection, we are looking for the best teachers that we have. We want to make sure that we have teachers who believe in our students, teachers who build great relationships with our students, especially as we are looking to do this at hubs. They will quickly have to build those great relationships. And we want teachers who are highly effective, who have proven track records of building results and are recommended highly by their principals. In addition to teachers, we have other staff members whose primary role is to support teachers, because we know as a district that basically there are 2 jobs: there's teaching and there's supporting teachers. And so all of these are positions that will support our teachers. I do want to draw your attention to, it is not listed up there, but we are going to be using peer tutors, and that will be Clayton County High School students working in conjunction. Dr. Pitts is working in conjunction with our math coordinators and our ELA coordinators to make sure that we have peer tutors who will be assisting. It's going to be of great benefit to our students who are enrolled in the program, because they will have students who have been through Clayton County Public Schools who are in the high school setting that will be able to identify with them and help them. But it's also going to be of great benefit to those students who are working the program. Not only will they make money, but they'll have great job experience. And we hope that some of them, and really we hope many of them, will decide that the experience is so good that they decide to become teachers right here in Clayton County Public Schools down the road.
Good evening. I'll give you a little bit more information about the AIR program. The program will begin on October the 28th for our high school students, and on November the 4th, it will begin for our elementary and middle school students. And as you can see, the times, each session will last for about 3 hours and 15 minutes, and we will have a student-to-teacher ratio of 1 to 10 or 1 to 15 at the highest. All right. Other considerations, students will be transported to the AIR program from their place of residence, and they will be provided with a grab-and-go breakfast and a snack during the program. We will have a number of hubs. We will have about 8 elementary hubs, 4 to 6 middle school hubs, and 2 to 3 high school hubs. The instructional focus, it will focus on math and reading for all students, and we will have prescribed lesson plans with activities and tasks embedded. And of course, our funding source, we will use Title I funds as well as general funds. For communication, so we've had a lot of different ways to communicate the AIR program to our parents and our students. We've sent out emails, and thanks to our communications department, they're in the process of creating flyers and posters that will be sent to every school. We also have it on our websites, and we've asked schools to put it on their websites, as well as our principals are providing advertisement through the school messenger. All right. And at this time, we will ask if there are any questions.
Ms. Williams?
My question is, can all students attend, or do they have to have a certain amount of learning loss in order to attend, or anybody can?
The good thing about this is we are recovering learning loss, but we're also accelerating learning. So as Dr. Guiney said, it's going to be open to all students. It will be somewhat of a first come, first served basis, because we want to make certain that we have enough teachers in the program to accommodate. So I think our cutoff for registration is September the 29th, but that would have been a 20 business days that since it's been posted, I believe. Okay, that's all right. A little less than 20.
One more question. Where is it posted at?
Where is it posted?
Yes.
Everywhere. But the good thing about it, in addition to, when I say everywhere, at the district level, if you were to click on the district's website right now, it's front and center, running in the banner. It's also on school websites. And I want to give a compliment to our chief communications officer, which is Dr. Ely. She has done an exceptionally good job in sending out the press releases, getting information out into the schools. And of course, I hope through CCPS info. So anybody that could hear about it pretty much knows about it, but she is going to, and I think that happened today because I saw it across my computer. We sent the same email back out again with all the information you just received for parents. So as of last Friday, we had 98 kids at the elementary level. We had already 30 some at high school, and with some numbers of kids who actually went for the first day, not full day, the enrollment is coming along nicely.
Is it also like in Class Dojo or Infinite Campus?
A total of 300 now, ma'am.
It's been Class Dojo or Infinite Campus, asking the schools to share it to that also?
Yes, it's on the Infinite Campus and Class Dojo. Pretty much any way that we can tell it, we've done it. And social media. Thank you. Thank you, communication. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Hill?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I think they answered the question, but I will reiterate. My concern is the information getting to the students. A lot of times when I talk to scholars, they're not familiar with the many opportunities that are available to them. And so just, I know you said social media, and just making sure that we're getting the information, is particularly to our high school scholars because I don't know if they're looking at all of these other school sites and websites, but a lot of times I hear that they don't have the information.
I'm glad you bring that up. I will share with you that the communications department has included emailing the students directly. We're also texting from the school sites. They have a database of all the parents' cell phone numbers, so we're texting the message out. I think we've kind of covered all bases, but we're going to continue to submit the information over the course of this open registration to ensure that everyone has it. We also had a recommendation by the deputy that we would put posters and the like in community barbershops, laundromats, etc. They are currently being printed in printing services, and we hopefully, by, I would say no later than the end of this week, we will have them at locations. So we're going to really layer it throughout the community because this is a great opportunity for students. Not only, like I said, those students who really need the recovery, but it's going to also move those students who can be accelerated by virtue of the fact that they're high performing. What the goal of this program is to raise the ceiling and the floor.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you so much because you're saying that I'm glad to hear that you're saying that you're actually emailing students, because I just heard you all say communication sends it out to CCPS info, but this would be my question for communications, even though Dr. Lee's not standing there. I would like to know who CCPS information sends it to. Because if I didn't have my board email, I would never see any of this. We've been asking for years, who do we send information to? Because I think the people that we send it to, they're not the people like Ms. Hill just mentioned about the scholars. So you are really, if you're sending it out to if you actually email students, this time you all covered our bases. But I've been asking for years, who are these people that you're sending stuff to? Because you all may send it to Clayton News Daily, but guess what? They're down to 1 day a week, and most people don't read Clayton News Daily. I don't know who the other people like. When I read the AJC, I never even see anything on the AJC that even happens on the South Side. Now they'll do real good about putting something in the paper for what happens in all the other counties, but I rarely see anything about Clayton County Public Schools, and I often have to call the gentleman up and say a few words to him, but I just don't see it. So you all have you really gone beyond the call of duty, and you answered the question about, I was going to ask about how many people are in there. I wish we could have these ratios that we're having in this program on a daily basis, because since you started this, I want to talk to you because I still got this school that I'm interested in us trying to have. Someone asked you all at Dr. Smith's last meeting about us having something for special needs students. And this is the ratio that I'd like to see, but I really want to talk to y'all and hope we can get that up. Ms. Baker.
In getting this information out, I was just talking to somebody else about this, trying to get some information out on another forum. I would really like to see us get the websites of all the churches, and then we can send them flyers, because they're going to announce it on Sunday morning, or they're going to put it up on their bulletin board, or in their bulletins. So I think that would be the best way, because sometimes just a little push from your pastor might make a difference. And so you could do homeowner associations, but I think the churches would be your first one to grab.
Thank you so much for that recommendation. We want to make certain that we get the word out to everyone. I would be happy to entertain any more questions.
And I did, Mr. Straker, looks like he has a question.
Really quickly, when's the last day of registration for the
The
program?
29th is when it closes.
So that's this Friday.
Is that this Friday?
That's
Yes.
this Friday,
Jesus.
correct?
Well, they've had
Right, so
2 full
posters
weeks
and
at a
churches could be scratched off, because by the time we get the posters, it will be Friday, and the churches are on Sunday.
I will share this with you though. I'm sure Mr. White still has the email addresses pretty much of all the churches. He had them when I was here 12 years ago. I know they're somewhere, Charles. Thank you. We sent flyers. Yeah, we can actually send the flyer. I want to tell you, this program promises to be very effective and well received. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Dr. Delphia Young, who is the Deputy Superintendent of Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement. She has supported from behind the scenes from the beginning till now. I also want to acknowledge everybody sitting to my left and my right who has had input on this. We've had think tank sessions several of them. There have been small committee meetings outside of the think tank sessions. These people have worked extremely hard. And the beauty of it is, it was the superintendent's vision. They were not just waiting for him to have a vision, but they all jumped on board, embraced it, and have worked feverishly to pull it off. You're going to be very proud. I want to give one bit of accolade to Dr. Ebony Lee. You made mention about communications and your desire. You're going to be very pleased when you get some communication information by way of this setting in terms of what she's done. I know it's not my place to speak to it, but the two leads have kind of stuck together and supporting each other. We just had a meeting today, Mrs. Goree, and Dr. Lee has stated that she's going to be contacting the Atlanta Journal and Constitution, sending them a letter of introduction, letting them know about her, talking about the superintendent's 5 priorities, and she's going to be sending some packets of information so that they can see what great things are going on in Clayton County. And she intends to follow that up by inviting Maureen Downey to lunch so that they can talk more about Clayton County.
Yes,
Y'all give
because
Dr. Lee a hand, please.
yes. That's Maureen Downey and also Mr. Stafford. Because Mr. Stafford is the person that does the writing for Clayton County. And I have to tell him off quite often because he likes to lead. He wants to talk about what happened in 2008. And I've told him, let it go because it's over with, okay? And let's move on because I'm tired of reading about that. And of course, Maureen I remember she didn't even endorse, she would not endorse me. She said we shouldn't have teachers on the board. So, I had to call her up and have a word with her in 2008. But then after I had a word with her, then she did endorse me, but we had a word. But what would be what's the maximum amount of students that you all anticipate having?
I will tell you in a short time that, like I said, at the end of Friday, and as of today, Dr. Johnson just informed me we have 300, and it's only been advertised for a week. So this is the first day of the second week. We're going to have a good many students, and I've also asked principals to call parents, particularly those students that fall within a certain range on GMOS. These are students who have been referred to in the past as bubble students. And that means that they are so close to moving to the next level of achievement that we want to really do some targeted acceleration with them, which when we move them forward, it's going to move the district forward as it relates to what's reported in the paper, et cetera.
Right.
Your staff has worked exceptionally hard, and it has been my pleasure to serve with them and at the pleasure of the superintendent.
Well, I want to mention one more thing since you talked about that on the bubble. Dr. Young, didn't we talk about in our committee meeting? That's the exact same thing that I talked to her about moving those students. But I also wanted to tell you one thing. I was going to share this with you all today, but I didn't. I had ended up with a flat tire on the interstate. And I thank the Lord for Miss Officer Mitchell out there, the Forest Park Police and the Sheriff's Department. And I'm trying to think somebody and Dr. Smith. I had a whole bunch of heroes that came to help me today. But the Education Week article today, there's a special report that says, is this the year students finally catch up from pandemic? And it says educators think so. And ironically, everything that you all are putting in place is in this article. And I meant to share it this morning, but I didn't get to. So I know you all are right on. So right on.
We appreciate the support of the board. Yes, sir.
I just want to thank Dr. Lee for really taking charge and working in collaboration with our Deputy Superintendent of Teaching and Learning and other staff members. Also, Dr. Lee, who had the foresight to put together a editorial breakfast. And yes, we got commitments from all media outlets to make certain that they do a great job balancing stories for Clayton County Public Schools. So henceforth, I think you'll see a lot of positive stories in our media outlets in the Metro Atlanta area. Thanks to Dr. Ebony Lee. And again, I just want to really thank Dr. Valia Lee for really just doing an extraordinary job pulling all of this together. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
I have a question. You also put is someone else going to come in and come up because you all gave us some other information about the night, the evening. Is someone going to discuss that?
We're in the midst of putting together an evening school program to complement the AIRS program, but we have not completely finalized that yet to prepare to bring a presentation to the board. But we're getting close.
Okay, well, you all gave us the information, so I'm just looking at what you all sent. But I did want to ask a question. I did send it to Dr. Hendricks, and I didn't have time to read your answers. I'm sorry. I noticed that when you all sent us the information about whether we decided to do the evening school, I found it very interesting that it seemed like the ninth graders, although most of them, it wasn't 50%, they were like in the 40s, but it seemed like the ninth graders were a little bit more inclined, and then it seemed like the seniors were a little bit more inclined, not exactly, but almost there. But you all didn't have any data from the charter school, so did you all not, are we not going to include them, or what was the data on that?
Mrs. Gorey and board, I will tell you, we had some technical difficulties while you all were in the back. And the presentations have gotten twisted, filled, etc. You're correct. There were 3 slides that reflected information about the Evening Academy. It included the data from a survey we administered. It also spoke to you about the fact that those students that you're mentioning, Ms. Gorey, some of them are interested in coming after school, and some of them already have jobs, and they're on their jobs trying to do their schoolwork and homework, and we want to take care of that. Additionally, the superintendent has a vision for student employment services, and we're trying to make certain that we, connect these young people to employment opportunities while they yet are in our school system. The school system is still mine too, though.
It is. It's ours. The village.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So the whole idea is we want to run an evening academy from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We want to open it up to all high school students, inclusive of the charter schools, Mrs. Gorey, anybody that's a Clayton County Public Schools student. And we're just right now in the infancy stage. Dr. Smith has appointed Ms. Felicia Brown and Dr. Terry Young to work in collaboration to get this done. I will be working with them because this is a quasi product of the AIR, overall AIR. We're going to be doing quite a bit with the AIR. We'll share more with you, and the Evening Academy is just another aspect. We are looking at, done some research on what other school districts are doing. Clayton happens to be one of a couple in the metro area that does not have one. So Dr. Smith wants to rectify that. His whole push has been to give the students what they need to become better at what they're doing in terms of learning acceleration, but also positioning them so that they can assume their rightful place in the community as it relates to working, going to the military, college, etc. So I shared this with you the first time I saw you, February 4th, that you had the right person in the seat. And every time I get an opportunity to say that, I echo that sentiment. He's on top of it.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
You don't make it swell any more than it is, Dr. Lee. Please don't make it swell. Thank you. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I have updates from business services. Ms. Ramona Bivens.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent, Dr. Anthony Smith, colleagues, and community. This evening, we have several updates for you. The first will be our finance report. Our financial reports are intended to assist the board with its fiduciary responsibilities and oversight regarding the financial conditions of the school system. There we go. So our general fund comparison as of August 31st, 2023. Our estimated beginning fund balance is $178.9 million. We collected $783,000 of our property taxes, $1.3 million in other local revenue, $32.6 million in our QBE funds for total receipts as of August 31st of $34,658,662, which is 5.5% of our budgeted receipts or revenue. Our total available funds, which is the sum of our estimated beginning fund balance and the receipts that we received year to date, is $213,526,611. As of August 31st, we have a total expenditures of $30,783,423, which is 4.8% of our budgeted expenditures, with an ending estimated fund balance of $182,743,188. The recommendation is to approve the financial reports as submitted, and I'll be happy to answer any questions regarding the financial report. Go ahead. So next we have our SPLOST revenue collection, our special purpose local option sales tax. It provides the primary source of funding for the school district's capital needs. We are in our sixth SPLOST program approved by the voter referendum. The report shows the monthly amounts for the last 3 months as compared to the prior year at the same time. As you can see, for August, we collected $6.3 million, which is almost $1 million more than what we collected last year at 5.5 in the month of August. Any questions on our SPLOST report, revenue collections?
Are there any questions? Go right ahead.
And next we have our purchasing report. According to the board policy, the purchase of any non-consumable item with a value of $50,000 or more and the purchase of a group of non-consumable items from a single vendor on individual or sequential purchase orders with a total value of $50,000 or more shall be approved by the Board of Education prior to purchase and/or prior to the execution of any agreement to purchase. The policy also requires that at the regular monthly Board of Education meeting, the superintendent or designee will provide a report of all purchases greater than $10,000 which were approved during the prior month and not previously approved by the board. In response to this policy, the purchasing department has prepared a report and included in the executive summary submitted to you a detailed account of all purchases and contracts with a value exceeding $50,000 that require board approval. Also attached, you have spreadsheets that reports Report A, which is our consumable purchases made with a value of $10,000 or more. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions regarding Report A if you have any.
Are there any questions? Ms. Cooper?
Hey, Ms. Bivens, I was looking at the purchasing report and there were, let's see, I think it was like 4 different items with office supplies. I think one was like 1.25,750,000, and it just says general office supplies. How does that work with multiple vendors? And is this done on like a school district level, or how does that work? And why do we have so many?
Yes, ma'am. So we utilize several different contracts to purchase office supplies from, because some we get better pricing with some than we do with others. And all of these, I believe, are on the statewide contract, and Ms. Brewer can confirm that, or tell me I'm wrong, either one. But we've used this every year. We come to the board to approve us to purchase from those, and it's for everybody in the county, in the district, including central office, schools. So that's why the amounts are so high, because it covers district-wide.
Okay, and also one other thing that I was noticing on the purchasing report with the construction part of it, extending the contracts with like 11 vendors. I just kind of want to know, I don't know if Ronick wants to speak on that for me. How do we go about that with the bidding process every year? And how did you come to the conclusion to extend with these vendors? Is it the best value? And are we looking at not just the best value, but also quality over? Yeah.
If that purchase refers to the renewal of the design services, so it's not construction related, it's the renewal for architects.
Okay.
It's based off a fee. All 11 firms have agreed to do it at 6% of cost. So it's, yes, precisely based off of the skill set of the design firm.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Is Mr. Smith, Mr. Rod Smith, we're having a technical issue. Is something wrong with our internet? Because I can't pull up anything. I'm gonna try my iPad. You can go ahead.
Okay.
I-
Then we have report
shoot, I done
B,
messed
which
up
is
now.
non-consumable purchases made with a value of $10,000 or more, but less than $50,000. And report C are non-consumable items with a value of $50,000 or more that require board approval as detailed in the executive summary. I'll be happy to answer any additional questions regarding the purchasing report.
We're gonna have to take about a few minutes here. You all gotta have a little, I can't pull up anything. On this, it must be something on this end. We can't pull up anything. Yeah, we can't get anything. So just hold on a
Okay,
moment.
no problem.
Where is Miss Lorraine at? Is she here tonight? Okay. I couldn't get anything to pull up. Are you done with the
With
purchasing?
the purchase, yes, ma'am, I'm done with the purchasing.
Okay. Let me say one thing. Oh, wait a minute, I'll let them. Are they good down there? That's me. You good on this end? Did yours come back? All right, on the purchasing report, in the future, can we get purchasing to, when you send these reports and you're telling us, I really couldn't hear Ms. Cooper's question because I was busy down here trying to get my computer to work. With these bids, you all tell us that someone's, somebody won the bid. Could we please get the people that are bidding we don't need all the paperwork, but can we at least see the names? We need a little bit more information than this department is asking for such and such a thing. And then you tell us, because I'm a little mad, still mad about these book bags. So
Yes, ma'am.
we just need some more information.
So you would like, so I'm clear, you would like for us to include a list of the vendors who submitted the
Yes,
bid?
yes.
Okay.
So yes, we need a little bit more information. Ms. Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just have one question. I'm looking at the report A, and under there, I see that we have engagement reading packets, and we have it twice for the same vendor. And it says district-wide grades K2 and then district-wide grades K12. Can you tell me why we separated that?
Come up here.
Yeah, so they overlap.
As a department, they ordered
I'm
different, the packets were different based on the grade and shipped to different schools based on the grade level.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The packets were for different grade levels and they were shipped to different schools. So it wasn't an intentional split, but it was a purpose for them splitting it. They were different books and different grade levels.
Oh, so it was different schools, you're saying?
Yes, because they were by grade level and they were shipped directly to the schools.
Okay. Okay, because
sent to the schools.
the grade for the second one was K through 5, which overlaps K through 2.
What was the vendor name again? I'm trying to find it on here.
Really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Oh, really good stuff right here, this one.
Did they make a mistake?
So, hold on. Family engagement meeting packs, so this one here. District-wide grades K12 and district-wide grade K2, K5.
Yeah, they were different packs.
Oh, okay,
Federal
hold on,
program
I
number.
see. Was this in here? What is that number? That's the number.
517%, and that was 848.
Okay.
So
The
they were the
question
same
is,
packet. It's not the same packet.
okay, so the K2 is
And
one.
they were not
is a
ordered at the
different-
same time.
Hold on, K2 is one packet.
Uh-oh.
And K5 is totally different packets. They're not the same exact thing.
It's going away
Gotcha.
again.
Two different times.
Okay, so the
I
K2
cannot
and K5, they're
believe this.
two totally different packets. K2 is one packet, K5 is another packet. They're not identical. So it was two separate packets, so there were two separate orders and they were sent to different schools as well.
Okay, because the material was different.
The material is different, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You can go, look, I don't know what's technical difficulties.
Okay.
Mine just went away again. So I've read it. I'm gonna just play it by ear. I think are you now on the banking?
The banking,
services?
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I read it. I just have to play it by ear.
Gotcha. So this request is for us to utilize a bank for investment purposes only. Currently, we utilize two banking institutions for our banking services. Truist has our operational, and then any excess funds like SPLOST dollars or anything excess that we have, even some of our general fund, we put that at our local government investment pool. And we wanted to, Ms. Billington and I talked, and it's not a good practice to put all our money in one place. She was telling me something that happened when she was in Florida, where the equivalent of the local government investment pool there, all the school systems lost a lot of money. It went under, kind of, sort of, and, well, not kind of, sort of, it went under, and they couldn't recoup their money back. So I wanted to look at us using East West Bank. We have some opportunities to place some funds there, to earn some additional revenues, specific on some of our SPLOST money and our capital money. I actually used them when I was with the county, had an opportunity, and that was when nobody was paying interest rates at that time. And I know the first year we earned $2 million in interest, so that helped with some of the cost escalations that we had. So I have a relationship with the government banking entity there, within the bank there, And she approached me and I told her we would look into doing it. I am interested in doing it. They are headquartered in California. They have a bank in Metro Atlanta, nothing here. They work with several local municipalities as well as with Gwinnett and Cobb County schools. And they, because they are in the state of Georgia, they have to adhere to our state and Georgia Department of Education banking specifications for government entities. So we had the opportunity to earn some additional interest to supplement our capital programs. So we're asking you to approve for us to open the new bank account with them for investment purposes effective next month. So that's what that is for. Any questions?
Mr. Straker.
So we're targeting or thinking about this bank for investment purposes only. So to allocate a certain amount of money to this bank to invest for us. Is that correct?
Well, basically, we would put in either a CD or a money market account
Right.
with a higher interest that earns
Interest
a higher
rate.
rate of interest. Yes, sir. Other than just letting it sit in Truist
Do
Bank.
you have any idea of how much you're thinking about allocating to the bank, to that bank account?
We have, I know we have, how much do we have right now? Come up here. I've been letting Ms.
Okay.
Billingsley kind of drive this for us.
And currently those investments, CDs, money market and CDs are with Truist Bank. Is that correct?
Well, we don't have any. Most of our money is with LGIP right now. We don't have anything.
We don't have any of that money. We have no investments that are allocated in CD or money markets at this time.
No, we don't.
So
Not at
this
this
is
time.
a new concept that we're
Yes,
thinking
sir.
about.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about this new concept because you have experience with doing it with the city and it was beneficial. Is that correct?
Yes, and we can earn a much higher interest rate with them than we can with Truist.
Right.
And it's comparable with LGIP, and I'm not comfortable putting all of our money in LGIP.
Gotcha.
Just in case something happens.
Right. And that allocation, that amount that we're thinking about?
I'm not thinking no more than half of it should, no more than half the bond money should be placed.
Say that again.
No more than half of the bond money should be placed over there.
No more than half.
Mhm.
So whatever we gain from the bond issuance will go, okay, 50% of that would go into, right? And we have no idea, I mean, from your experience, how long of a money market or a CD that we're looking at, a year, 5 years?
So
3?
we do either 6 months to
6
12 months. And what I do is we look at we do a cash flow projection of when our projects are coming on board. And I set it up where we are able to pull that money out
Gotcha.
at that time as it's needed to pay for those projects.
Right, excellent idea.
Anything else, Mr. Straker? Dr. Haney.
Vice Chair had already asked the question. Thank you.
She's already answered. Oh, okay. Thank you.
You good?
All right. Are there any other questions? Okay.
Thank you. And the last item I have is the budget calendar. As you know, we're coming up on another budget year already. Oh, there we go. So it's the budget calendar for fiscal year 24-25. As you know, it's approved annually by the board. It provides a planning tool for the development of the ensuing year's budget. It guides the district through the budgeting process by ensuring that essential timelines are met while providing flexibility to accommodate actions of the legislature. This calendar will initiate the process for the fiscal year 24-2025 budget, and the request is approval of the budget development calendar as submitted.
All right. Are there any questions? All right.
Okay, that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Ms. Cooper.
Ms. Bivens, really
Yes.
quickly. I saw on the calendar, it said something about our budget committee members.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you announce that just in case we have some that would like to volunteer on each of our committees to be a part of that?
You want me to announce it now or send it out later? Oh, you want me to
Sorry, I didn't
announce
hear you.
the dates on
The
here?
dates, just the
Sure.
dates.
Yes, ma'am. So you want to go through the whole calendar? Or just for the part
If you
about
could
the
put
budget?
calendar up, that would be great, because they can see it. I think it's sometime in
don't-
January, right?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
On here, it has January through April of 2024. I haven't decided the exact date in January, but that's when they will meet, beginning in January. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. Okay. And they'll meet throughout the budgeting process. Okay.
All right, and what that means is that everybody needs to have your names turned in since if we're gonna vote on it. So let's have our names turned in so that they can start on time with the budget. We've not been doing a good job. Make sure we pick some good people because sometimes I don't think any of my people ever showed up last year. So let's pick some good people that will be willing to commit and they can have a good group to work with. All right.
Thank you.
Man, I'm sorry. I need to turn my mic off because I don't know what's going on with the internet.
Thank you, Ms. Bivens.
Mine keeps going in and coming out.
Mr. Joseph?
Good evening once again, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith. You've received the executive summary for the SPLOST update. In the month of September, there were 3 payments totaling $6.3 million. There was 1 deductive change order in the amount of negative $54,950 for the Riverdale demolition project. Additionally, you received the bid tabulation sheet for the maintenance complex renovation. There were 2 bidders. Bids were received in September 22nd. Bids were received from SRS and Meiji Construction. SRS submitted a bid of $6.5 million at 15% SLB participation. Meiji Construction submitted a bid at $6.3 million with a SLB participation of 31%. Scope of work includes new roof for the warehouse, new cooler and freezer for the food and nutrition department, and renovations of the maintenance complex. The superintendent recommends the board approve the bid from Meiji Construction in the amount of $6,399,000. Are there any questions?
I would ask a question if my computer would put what I needed. Okay, here it's back again. Well, it's gone again. Okay, I guess my question is, since I can't see the data here, when is the timeline for getting the maintenance complex fixed? Thank you. I'm gonna do this the next time.
We're anticipating
No, not there. That's not what I need. What'd you say?
8 to 12 months. The roof replacement will be about 8 months. The long lead item will be the main cooler and freezer for the food and nutrition department. We anticipate that taking place over the summer.
Okay, so when will you be starting on it? You told me when will you be starting on the maintenance complex?
Oh, if the board approves the project on Monday, we will begin the following week.
Next week?
The week after the board acts on Monday.
Okay, and then when they start doing the work, where will maintenance, will they be moved somewhere else or what?
Yes, ma'am. They'll move to the warehouse, and then we also have swing space throughout.
Space throughout. You got that Barry White voice, so you got all that bass. I need you to kind of go up a little high. Now they saying be careful. Now Barry White had a nice voice, but now he wasn't the best. He didn't look like Denzel now. So come on, y'all. He had a nice voice, but he didn't look like Denzel. So
there's not many offices in the maintenance complex, maybe like 20. So I would imagine that they'll work with their trucks and throughout the facility. Similarly, how we do with schools, we'll swing a staff accordingly.
Okay, and then I'll just wait and get you to send me something in writing because I want to know what we're doing about the administrative complex as well. Yeah, but I'll just send it to you in writing because it's all right. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties. I'm getting a little frustrated tonight. I don't know what I didn't do right today. I did try to pray and all that kind of stuff. I'm just having one of those days. Okay.
All right.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Ms. Albritton.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, other members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith, colleagues, and community members. The Personnel Changes Report summarizes all personnel actions for the period of August 14th through September 8th, 2023. All human resources updates were submitted to the Board of Education for your review. I am happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Ms. Cooper?
Hello, I was looking at the presentation and I saw the update on the positions. It was 56 positions that was absorbed. Do you know what that cost saving was, if any, being that I know there were other positions too that were created? Do we know that?
So all 56 were teacher positions, and we've been working with Position Control, which is a unit in business services. So we've been working in tandem. They will be better positioned to share that amount. I will say that in addition to these particular teacher positions, we are reviewing all vacancies for the opportunity to close other opportunities as well that are no longer needed across the district.
So is this something you can send to the board?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Superintendent Dr. Smith. To answer your question, it was to the tune of about 2.8 million for those positions.
Any other questions? Ms. Cooper? Dr. Haney?
I almost forgot. When I was reviewing the information and we were looking at why our employees resigned or whatever it may be through the survey, and I noticed that the number went up as a culture. So how do we go back to assess those areas of improvement so that we can continue to retain our staff? So do you all do some type of debriefing, or how does that work? I mean, because if you're going to get the results, I don't know it's anonymous or whatever, what does your team do to address those? Because I know you get reports, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this. And if we keep seeing a rise in this area, what are we doing as a team, as a district, to eradicate that, to keep our staff?
Okay.
So I know it went up like 6. I'm trying, because I don't have the information, but I did look at that and see that the culture is now increasing opposed to what it was last month.
Yes. So a couple of things. As we've shared previously, the exit survey is voluntary and anonymous. The team met, today is Monday, so the team met last Thursday, and we're going to put some other things in place to attempt to increase the number of employees who complete the exit survey. So we can't compel the completion, but we can make sure that the link to the survey appears more prominently in more than one place. In addition to that, one of our KPIs is related to onboarding. And so as you are aware, Human Resources handles the initial centralized onboarding process, but the local onboarding, so once the employee leaves HR and really starts their employment in their respective school or department, there's a ownership that the location has to take as it relates to onboarding. And so what we've decided to do is share at a regular frequency onboarding tidbits. So things that really need to be in place to support the proper onboarding of employees, because we know retention starts at recruitment. So the thought is the earlier on we can make sure that they're getting an appropriate introduction to the district, the more likely they are to remain.
All right, this is my question. Well, I'm gonna let Ms. Williams go first and I'll ask. Ms. Williams.
Since we're doing the leveling process, is there a hold on the teacher hiring?
So during the leveling process, we did not hire additional teachers unless they were in specialty areas. Because to bring on new teachers while we were in the process of leveling, so either through vacancy or changing a teacher's assignment, would have not been a great decision for the district. So now that that process is over, we have returned to hiring all teachers. But teacher hiring was ongoing in specialty areas that were not heavily impacted by leveling.
So the ones that filled the application out, were they aware of that, or they just sitting there?
So the hiring managers were aware, so the principals and assistant principals were aware, and they were tasked with communicating with each of those applicants that they had requested for hire.
Thank
All right, this is my question. When we were at Dr. Smith's event at Drew, I just want to know, what can we do to shorten our application process and getting people hired? Because we spoke to an individual there that I think she's tried to be a substitute teacher for us. I don't think she ever made it through the process, because I wish we could go back and look at some things. One of the things she mentioned was the fact you are asked about her employer. She's self-employed. So we need to look at our applications, because some of the things that we have on there should be a way around it. Most people that have degrees, I don't know why we're still asking about your high school diploma. I can't find mine. So if I tried to get a job, that'd stop me. I mean, if I have a degree, surely y'all believe I, got a high school diploma
Absolutely.
or a
but-
GED or something, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
And Madam Chair, as Mrs. Albritton stated, that she has newly established key performance indicators. One, which is probably one of the most important ones, is to really impact the onboarding process to make certain that we shorten the time in order for candidates to apply and get hired. So that is ongoing. We'll be more than happy to provide a full presentation to speak to the final work that she puts together relative to making a strong impact on that concern.
All right, well, when will that happen?
We can do it at our retreat if you so desire.
Well, if you can just make it happen and send the email, we would be real happy. Because I don't really need a presentation. What I really need is some action. Because I've been hearing this story. We hear this story over and over every year, and we need to shorten it. I've asked some people to apply for jobs. They said we just gave up because their application is ridiculous. And I've looked at it too, because like I said, some of the questions, but I know, seems like we should be able to change it. Also, one of the things the finance department left, and you've already presented, but I don't know, is Ms. Billingsley still in here? Okay. We also talked about when we had a discussion in regards to our the audit. And one of the things that we talked about too was the fact that we use Munis, and I think you all use Munis as well, right?
Yes.
And the person that did the audit said Munis is not friendly. It's not school board. It's not school district friendly. And I guess at this point, it's too late to ask you all to look at something else. That's not you, but you fall up under there. But we need to really look at something else other than Munis, because I think that right there is the problem. For all the departments that end up needing to use Munis, it becomes a problem. So that would probably aid us as well. But anything we can do to help you, Ms. Albritton, we really want to, because we do really need to retain our staff. So thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Albritton.
Okay, you all. Does that conclude your presentation, Dr. Smith, from your staff?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, you all. I'm so irritated at this point. I'm sorry. My computers keep the iPads going out, the computers going out. We're on policy series A, first read. Do we have anything? All right. Can you all look and see? I can't even tell what it says. Do you all have anything that you would like, even though there's no recommendation? I can't, come on. All right, I'm gonna move on down the road then. We have Series B, first read. All right, I shouldn't have done that, because now it's disappeared. I'll have to look at yours too. Okay. How about okay, now it's trying to come back. There it comes. All right, let's go to C. I'm scared to hit that one. I really think we're gonna have to wait to the, well, look, I'm just trying to make sure that the board members, you all might have some recommended changes. All right, C, all right. I believe the next thing on the agenda is facility naming. Let me see your agenda, Mr. All right. All right, so on facility naming, I have given you all some letters, and I will have to recuse myself from one group. But I want to go back. We had students that came this summer, and they talked about renaming the floor at Forest Park High School, and I wanted to see where you all stand on that. They wanted to name it after Stephen Cole, who was the I need to get his permission if you all remember the students that presented. So I need to know how how the board feels about that. But Ms.
Steve
Baker,
Coles is the head girls basketball coach,
Ms.
Forest
Baker,
Park High School, a former rather.
Just for clarification, that was for the gymnasium?
for the court.
For the court.
Mhm.
I'm good with that. I really liked the presentation they gave.
Okay. We need to get his permission, so are we all right with Stephen Cole? No, it's the board policy. We vote on it. All right, well, since we've already had a vote, so can we go ahead and just vote on it tonight? Do we have a motion? I'll move that we name the floor, the gym, after Stephen Cole. I'll move. Do I have a second? Or do we have questions? All right, Ms. Baker's moved. She seconded the vote, okay. Ms. Hill, do you have a question?
No, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Cooper? All right. All right, well, let's go ahead and vote. All right, we have 7 in favor. Mr. Christmas, by the way, he left, he wasn't feeling well. And our attorney also left. You have that, Ms.? Okay. Now, we also have letters here in regards to the Morrow High School gymnasium, and also for the court. Now, actually, there was one other letter. I just had a rough day. I couldn't find it. But if you notice here, we have a request to naming the Morrow High School gymnasium in the honor of Coach A.C. McCullers. Now, Coach McCullers is deceased, so we don't need to get permission for him, but he actually was he had state championships. He's one of the greatest coaches that they ever had. So the request is to name the gymnasium after A.C. McCullers, and then the other request is to name the floor, the court, after Mary Beth Lissette. Now, she is actually Mary Beth Lissette Smart. She's actually the wife of Kirby Smart, who is the coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. And Mary Beth was she was Miss Basketball for the state of Georgia. So she is a very, oh, okay, I thought you were telling me something. So anyway, in order for Miss Lissette Smart if we approve it, we do need to get permission for her for that to happen, because she is she's a living person. So do we have any objection let's start with the gymnasium for Coach McCullers. Do you all want to take action on it tonight, or you want to wait, or what? I'm looking. Huh? Okay, well, they say, Ms. Williams says, let's wait. Y'all want to wait? Okay. Okay, we'll give you some more time. Okay. All right, I will pass the mic, or I'm gonna pass. There is another naming, so I have to
There's
abstain.
another naming, Ms. Corey?
Yes.
You know nothing about it though, right? I'll take this item off on the thing. Board members, we have received a few letters that are in support of our chairperson being named to the Early Learning Center in Riverdale. One, I'm going to open up for discussion, and two, see if there's anyone that objects to the naming of the Early Learning Center in Riverdale, the naming of it being our chairperson, Jessie Gorey. Ms. Cooper?
So yes, we have been receiving some letters, but I just have a question about the process and how do we go about doing this? I don't know, with being the current chair, what's the process when it deals with someone that is, of course, we know the living and sitting.
Right.
Just a question.
I'm going to take a crack at this, and Ms. Gorey, I do need you not to comment on the actual naming, but make sure that I'm saying the correct things. I believe that it is board policy that we make the determination of the name of any building. We do that. And if the person is living, we just simply have to get the permission of that individual, and then we can go forward with naming that building and the name of anyone that we choose as a board. Am I correct, Ms. Corey?
And
Ms.
the
Corey,
risk
wake
comes
up.
and the request comes from the community.
I'm sorry.
And the request comes from the community.
Right. So in addition, the request has to come from the community, which we're looking right in front of us. The community requesting the naming of that building in Madam Chair's name. So is there any other discussion points? I see a light, Ms. Baker.
Okay, I'm not trying to throw water on anybody's name, so please don't see it as that. In the past, on new buildings, it's been our procedure. I don't know, but to put up a link on the website for 1 week for anybody to submit a name, that's been the procedure. I don't think that 1 week would hurt. A lot of times we get some crazy things and, you know, those get thrown out. So just to follow the procedure is my concern. And of course, Clinton has left for the evening, so he can't answer that.
Gotcha. Do I see any more lights? Ms. Baker was the last light that I saw. Is there anybody else?
I had a question about, I was gonna say the same thing Mary said.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was gonna say the same thing Mary said about sending it out to the community to see.
Sending it out to the community. Now, let's be aware of the fact that the community has reached out to us via correspondence, making that request. So the community has outreach to us to start this process. So if it's a community thing that we're worried about, the community has voiced some of the community has voiced their opinion on getting this process started. Is there anybody in objection to Ms. Baker's request of at least putting a link on the district site in order to see if any other names pop up? Is there any objection to Ms. Baker's request? Seeing none, Dr. Smith, is there a way that you can get that link up and we'll keep it there until next Monday?
In support of with the support of the technology department, we will do that.
Okay, is there any other discussion or objections to this process and the naming of this building in Madam Chair's name.
Mr. Vice Chair, just to be clear, the instructions is to put up a link to give the community an opportunity to weigh in. And
Exactly.
based on what I'm hearing, if the technology department is able to
Put that up
erect
tomorrow.
that link tomorrow, and we will, can we all agree that we will let it run until Friday? That way you would have enough information to be able to perhaps render a vote at the board meeting on Monday.
Fantastic. Is everybody in agreement with that? Seeing no objections, that's the way we will move. So this Friday, we'll have some sort of a decision and verdict in regards to that. And on next Monday, it'll be part of our voting agenda item. Fair? Okay, great.
All right. Now, since we said that, we need to do that for all of them.
For all of, okay. All right.
Which means that then we need to rescind the vote for Stephen Cole.
Good deal. All right, so Dr. Smith, did you get that? So those other names will go up on the site also, hopefully tomorrow. And then we can vote on all of those names next week.
Ms. Baker.
I was just saying that I believe that our process in the past had been in regards to new facilities.
Gotcha.
Where that's why I didn't say anything about the gymnasiums, because that's not a new
They already
facility.
exist,
So
yeah.
like I said, I'm just trying to dot some i's and cross some t's, and the vote will be the vote.
I don't think it could hurt if we put those other names on there also, just to establish a new protocol and precedence in doing these things. Anybody object to that? All right, so we'll revote for the one that we voted for this evening. And all of those names will be listed in the link tomorrow. And we will have the results by Friday and vote next Monday. Thank you, board members.
Yeah, I don't think it says anything about, it doesn't say new facilities, it says facilities, so we'll do all of them. And we will, we'll put them up, as you said, for a week. Okay, so I believe that we have covered everything, except we need to now amend the
Agenda. And
we need to change the agenda.
because we already.
Yeah, we'll add the facilities naming. Okay, thank you. I think, have we covered everything? Yeah. Well, actually, like I said, I don't have a problem with I don't really have a problem with Forest Park. The thing is that we voted for it. We can't do anything about it anyway until we get permission. So we'll just go back. Are we all right with Forest Park? Okay, so we'll go back. We'll leave Forest Park as it is, and then we'll leave it as it is. But you mentioned new facilities. The gym is new. That's why I'm saying not that gym, but the other gym is new. Right. Yeah. Okay. And I hope you all do some research on that, because that I'm just gonna say he really does deserve that honor. He really does. Those people out there that know him, they're not in their heads. Okay. So we're gonna add that to the agenda, and I believe that's everything, because the computer mine has gone in and out. Is that everything? All right, I believe we have concluded the meeting.
That seems to be
Thank you.
everything,
We're
Madam
in
Chair.
What'd you say?
I said,
For the agenda. I would
Madam
think it
Chair, I
would be
move
through
that we-
acclamation.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the opposed agenda for next week as discussed.
Thank you. Mr. Straker.
so move, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I assumed it would be by acclamation. Okay, but 7-0. Now we're in adjournment.